To access the preset pack, we will open the File Explorer right down here, and then we will go to this PC, C drive, and here we have the MirrorMeBooth folder. This is our preset pack. As you can see, the preset pack contains all kinds of folders which you can use within your software. For example, animations. Here we have a grand selection of animations. All are categorized to the different folders. For example, before photo, complement, and countdown. Another folder that we have here is the games folder. We made a few interactive animations that you can load to your workflow. For example, ping pong and shell game and tic-tac-toe. Another folder here that we have here is the overlays folder. As you can see, we have a grand selection of overlays that we made for the software, which you can use to design your final photo. And another folder that we have here is the stamps folder, which contains the emojis that you can use with your signature feature. All of those XML files right here are the presets that will load to the software and will appear in the options menu once you will open the software. Welcome to the MirrorMe software. When we will open the software, the Presets tab is the first tab that we will see. Let's see what we have here. Selected event. An event is the folder in which the files you're creating using the software, like photos, GIFs, and videos, are saved. If my selected event is my first event, as you can see here, my photos will be saved in the folder under the same name in the preset pack in the Events folder. Let's see it for a moment. To minimize the software window, I will press Ctrl F on my keyboard. Now let's access our preset pack again. So I'm opening the File Explorer, and then C drive, MirrorMeBooth folder, and here I have the Events folder. As you can see, I have here my first event. So as long as I am on my first event as a selected event in the software, right here, my photos will be saved in this folder right there. To create a new event means to create a new folder in which your photos will be saved. So I will click here on the Add New button, and I will give my new event a name. I will call it Training, and press Add. Now you can see that my selected event is Training, and a new folder was created in the preset pack, also called Training. So my photos will be saved in this folder right there. Now let's enter to full screen mode again. We'll press Ctrl F again. So our next step will be to select a preset. Each preset has its own workflow. This is how a workflow looks like, and we will of course learn how to read it in the next video. A preset has also a photo layout, which is the design of our final photo, and features settings, which we are setting in the Features tab. The names that we gave to each preset in the preset pack represents all three: the workflow, the photo layout, and the features. For example, here we have a DSLR preset. DSLR is your Canon camera. For one horizontal photo, 1H stands for one horizontal, an option to retake the photo, signature, and sound. Sound is our voiceover animations. This preset is also a DSLR preset for one horizontal photo with just the signature feature and no other feature whatsoever. This preset, for example, is a DSLR preset for 3 vertical photos in rotation of 270 degrees and sound. The duplicate button allows you to create a copy of a certain preset. It's ideal if you want to edit an existing preset without having to create a new one from scratch and without overwriting the original one. So for the training now, I will select this preset, DSLR 1H signature, and I will duplicate it, pressing here on the duplicate button, and I will give my duplicated preset a name. I can call it test and press add. As you can see, now I have two files, the original preset and the duplicated preset. So now I can apply any changes that I want here, yet the original preset will stay just the same. The Add New button here will create a new preset file with an empty workflow and photo layout. Means you will need to create your preset from ground up. We'll press here on the Add New button and we'll give the new preset a name. We can call it New Preset. And I will press Add. You can see now I have the new preset file that I created. The preset thumb is an image that represents the preset in the preview. The thumbnail that we created for you are in the thumbnails folder in the preset pack, but you can load here any photo you'd like. Note that when changing the photo layout design, it does not change the thumbnail automatically, as this is a separate photo. To load a different thumbnail, you're clicking on the three dots button right there, and then selecting the thumbnail that you want. I will load a random one for now from our thumbnails folder here in the preset pack, and you can load this thumbnail, for example, and press open. For the training, I will use this test preset that I created before. Let's go to the Workflow tab. The workflow is built up from states, and when I will press on the Start Preset button right down here, the states will be presented on the screen according to the order of the states, from the top to the bottom. When we have an animation state in the workflow, an animation will be presented on our screen. When we have a feature state in the workflow, an action will be taken by the software or a feature screen will be presented to us. Now, our first animation that I have here is called Button. That animation says Touch Here to Start. In order to preview the animations, we will access our preset pack again, go to the Animations folder, Touch to Start, and by opening the animation with Internet Explorer, I can see the preview of the animation. Touch Here to Start. So since my first animation says Touch Here to Start, and I would want this animation to be presented on the screen until I will touch it, I will set this animation's next state trigger to be Touch. If I want to change this animation to a different Touch Here to Start animation, I will click on the three dots button right there. And here in the preset pack, I am in the Animations folder and Touch to Start category. And here I can select any Touch Here to Start animation that I'd like. I will select the Touch Here to Start flowers and press open. You can see that instead of the button, I have the Touch Here to Start flowers animations instead. Now, don't forget to hit here on the Save button and see this pop up, preset saved successfully. You don't have to save after every little change that you are doing, but remember not to exit the software or not to select a different preset. Our next animation is called Get Ready 1. This animation will say, get ready, the mirror will take one photo. Since from that point on, I wouldn't want to touch the screen in order to trigger the animation, so I will set this animation's next state trigger to be time, as you can see here. For animations of this kind, for those that we created for you in the preset pack, the software will automatically load the next state trigger and the correct timing according to the timing mentioned in the file's name. The timing is typed in milliseconds. Every 1000 milliseconds are 1 second only. So you can see that this animation will be presented on our screen for 5.2 seconds. After this animation, you can see that we have 3 more animations. Each will run for 1 second on our screen, and they are called 3, 2, and 1. This is our countdown. After the countdown, we have our first feature state, DSLR photo. At that point, the camera will take one photo. This is a process that will not be visual to you or to your guests. This is just the camera taking the photo behind the booth screen. After the DSLR photo is being taken, the last raw preview of the photo will be presented to us. If you want, you can enable the option to retake the photo. Pay attention here that you need to set how many states the workflow will go back in a situation when your guests do select to retake the photo, so we can count 1, 2, 3, 4 states. So when our guest will select to retake the photo, the software will go 4 states back in our workflow, and it will start over from the countdown. After the last raw preview was presented, I have my next animation here that will say hot tamales. After that, I have another animation that invites us to sign on the screen. Then we have our next feature state, signature. When we're getting to the signature feature state, the software will present us the signature screen where you will be able to draw your signature and add the stamps. After that, the final preview will be presented to us. The final preview will look like your photo layout, which we will learn how to edit and design in the next video. After that, the software will automatically save the final photo to our event folder that we selected. After that, we will be presented with the print copies feature screen, where we will be able to select how many copies we would like to print from our photo. And then we have our final animation state that will tell us that the mirror is printing our photos. Now let's start a preset, so you will see that everything that we described here in the workflow is exactly what we will experience once we will start the preset. Since I don't have my DSLR camera connected at the moment, the software will run on test mode. This is a good way to test your preset before heading to your event to make sure it works perfectly. When I will click on Start Preset, the software will notify me that it's working on test mode. So I can press here, Yes. Since I am working on desktop mode, we will not see the full screen, but you will of course be able to see everything once you will work with your TV monitor inside the booth. So I am clicking Touch here to start. Get ready, the mirror will take one photo. 3, 2, 1. Now we have here the raw preview. Hot tamales, an animation that invites us to sign on the mirror. Here you can write or draw whatever you'd like. We can also change the color. And select an emoji to add. And press done. Now you see we have the final preview with the signature, our print copies feature screen, how many copies we would like to print. I will select 0 for now. And our final animation. The mirror is printing your photos. Now that my preset has ended, to present the options menu, again, I will press Ctrl-O on my keyboard. If you want to add more states to your workflow, you can press on the Add State button and select the type of state that you want. I will select now to add another feature state, and I would like to use the email feature, so I'm opening the drop-down menu and selecting the feature that I want. Since I want to add the email feature before we're printing the copies, so I will drag that state after the autosave feature state and before the print copies feature state. If I want to delete a state from the workflow, let's say that I want to delete the print copies feature, I will highlight that state by clicking on it with the mouse and press delete on the keyboard. Same thing I can do to this animation. Now I would like to show you how to use the random animation feature. If you want to use one preset yet have your guests to experience different animations each time, you can set a random animation list state in your workflow. For example, if I want the preset to present a different touch here to start animation each time, so I will select the type of this state to random animation. Now I will click on the 3 dots button and I will create a list of the touch here to start animations. I will press on the Add Animation button and I will now load the touch here to start animation that I would like to add to my list. Click on the 3 dots button, Animations, touch here to start. I will select the touch here to start black and white. I will select the touch here to start green, and I will select the touch here to start yellow. Press done once you're done creating your list and press on the save button. From now on, each time I will start the preset, a different touch to start animation will be presented. Of course, you can add as many animations that you want to the random animation list. To every feature that we have in our workflow, we can check or change its settings in the Features tab right here. Let's take a few features for example. The print copies feature. If I want to limit my guests with the number of copies they are able to print, for example, I will go to the Features tab, Print Copies section, and here I can change the minimum and maximum copies per session. I will change it now to 2 copies maximum per session, and I will press Save. Another feature, for example, is the Preview feature. The preview was presented on our screen for 4 seconds. Let's say now that I would like the preview to be presented on the screen for 8 seconds. So I will go to the Features tab, Preview and Raw Preview section. And here I can change the preview time instead of 4,000 milliseconds to 8,000 milliseconds. Remember, 1,000 milliseconds are 1 second only. And now I can press Save. This process is relevant to any feature that you have in your workflow. Check which feature setting you would like to change and review the different settings under the same section in the Features tab. If you want to create your own preset from scratch, you can press here on the Add New button, give your new preset a name, and a new preset file will be created. As you can see, the workflow is empty, and so is the photo layout. I will show you now how to create a very basic workflow. So I will add a new state. My first state will be animation, and I will load here a button, touch here to start animation. I will set this animation's next state trigger to be touch. After that, I will add another animation state, which will be from our Before Photo category. Before Photo, last chance to be hot. Open, and you can see that the next state trigger was automatically set to time together with the amount of time in milliseconds. After that, I will add my countdown animation. Click on the 3 dots button, go to the countdown category, and I will select the countdown heart animation and press open. After my countdown, I will add my first feature state, and I will select DSLR photo. You can also select a Kinect photo or a webcam photo if you'd like. After the DSLR photo is taken, I will add another animation with complement. Animations, complement, and I will select from here, Oh, You Pretty Thing, complement. And I will press open. Now I will add an animation that will invite my guest to sign on the mirror. I will go to the signature category. Now sign and stamp on the mirror animation. And I will press open. After that, I will add my feature state of signature. After that, I will invite my guests to select how many copies they would like to print with an animation. Print category. How many copies to print animation. And then I will add another feature of print copies. Now I can add another final animation. Hot off the press. The mirror is printing the photos. And I will press save now that I'm done with my workflow. Now I need to design my photo layout. So in the Photo Layout tab, I already have the DSLR photo and the signature box. Those were added here automatically once I added the DSLR photo and signature features to the workflow. Now I will add an overlay by pressing on the Photo plus icon right here. From my Mirror Me Booth folder, I will select an overlay. I will select a horizontal one. Pink horizontal. And I will press open. And you can see that the overlay was loaded here to my photo layout. Now I will scale my DSLR photo to fit the overlay frame. And I will place my signature right here and press save. Now in the Presets tab, I can load a thumbnail for my preset. Let's say now that I want to load the overlay as a thumbnail, so it will be easier for me to recognize it the next time I will use the software. In order to do so, we need to take that overlay file from our preset and I will copy it, and we need to place it in two folders. Thumbnails, I will paste it here, and also to thumbnails large. And now, in the software, here in Preset Thumb, I will click on the three dots button, and I will load my new thumbnail from the Thumbnails folder in the Preset Pack. And I will press save. In the Photo Layout tab, we can design our final photo. The photo layout is built up with layers. You can see now, I will move things around, and you can see how I'm putting all the layers one on the top of the other. All of those layers are also represented here in a list on the left side of the screen. The layer that is at the most top of that list will be the element at the most bottom of the visual editor on the right side, and vice versa. So if now I would like the DSLR photo to be the top layer in my photo layout, so I will drag the DSLR state to the bottom of my list on the left side. You can see now that the DSLR photo appears as the top element in the visual editor. As you can see, we have 4 elements in our list. We have here 2 photos, 1 signature box, and 1 DSLR box. The signature and the DSLR photo elements were added here automatically once I added them to my workflow. Means that if I will want to delete one of those from my photo layout, I will need to delete it from my workflow. You will see now that if I will try to delete the signature, the software will notify me that exact same thing, that this feature needs to be deleted from the workflow. As you can see, we have 4 elements on our list. We have a DSLR box, signature box, and 2 photos. The signature and the photo boxes were added here automatically once I added them to the workflow. Means that if I will want to delete one of those from here, I will need to delete it from my workflow. You will see now that if I will try to delete the signature, the software will notify me that this feature needs to be deleted from the workflow builder. Now that we recognized those features, that leaves us with 2 photos. One is the overlay and one is the PhotoMaster logo. But how do I know which one is which? First, let's pay attention to the layout width and height right here. It is set now to 1800 by 1200. That is for a 6x4 photo. You can also see that I have a photo here that its width and height values are exactly the same. So this is one way to know that the first photo is my overlay and the bottom photo is my PhotoMaster logo. Now that we are aware that each element has width and height values, you can also see each element has left and top values, which marks the location of that element on our visual editor. You can see now how the left and top values will change according to the location I am moving the PhotoMaster logo to. If I want to delete the PhotoMaster logo, for example, and add a different logo, so I can click on that photo and press delete on the keyboard. Now to add my own logo, I will press on the Photo Plus icon right here, and I will load the logo file from my computer. I will load a random logo for now. And you can see now that the new logo was added to the top left corner of my photo layout. I will place it here. To replace an existing photo state from here, for example, if I want to replace my overlay, I will click here on the 3 dots button. In Image File, I will press again on the 3 dots button, and I will now load a new overlay from my preset pack. I will go to Overlays, and I will select one from the different categories. For example, the romantic horizontal one. And I will press Open. Now you can see that the new overlay was loaded to my photo layout, and all that is left for me to do is to scale the elements to my new frame. In order to do so, I will take the DSLR photo to the front so it will be easier for me to scale it. And now there are a few ways for me to do so. When I click on the element, you can see that there is a little square on each corner. So I can click with my mouse on one of those corners and drag and drop in and out until I will get the desired size. I can also click here on the arrows up and down to change the values, or I can type in an exact number. Like so. I can also change the angle of that element if I want to by clicking here on the outer square and rotate with my mouse, or I can change the angle right here. Now I will place the DSLR photo where I want it to be, and I will put it back as the bottom layer, so it will be behind the rest of the elements. I can place the signature here. Can make it a little bigger. And I will move my logo down there. And I'll press save. Adding a text to the photo layout is done by pressing here on the T+ icon. You can see now that the text layer was added, so is the text box. To edit the text, I will click here on the 3 dots button. And here I can write my text. I can change the color from the color palette if I want. I can change the text size. And I can also change the text font. Any font that is installed on your computer will appear in the drop-down menu, and you can of course install new fonts as you'd like. I will close this window and I will place my text here. By pressing on the QR+ icon, we can add a QR element to our layout. And once I'll print the photo, I'll be able to scan it with the scanning app I have on my smartphone. You can control the QR code feature settings in the Features tab, of course. I will press save. And that's it. My final photo is ready. A very cool option to add to your photo layout is the Dynamic Overlays feature. That feature allows your guest to select which overlay they would like to apply on the final photo before they're printing it. But first, we need to prepare a folder that contains our overlays selection. Let's go to our preset pack for a moment. And we already made you here in the overlays folder a few dynamic overlay folders. So today I will use the dynamic 1H, dynamic 1 horizontal folder. Here you can see its content. You can see I have 3 overlays here. Note that 3 is the minimum number of files that needs to be in your dynamic overlays folder. Now, in the photo layout tab, I will click on the folder plus icon, and I will add from the overlays folder my dynamic folder. I will click on it and press select folder. You will see just the first overlay here, but they are all loaded together. Now I will start the preset, and you will see that when we'll see the preview of our final photos, we'll be able to swipe with our fingers or with the cursor and select whichever overlay that we want. Let's start the preset. We're working on test mode still. The booth is taking one photo. We can now sign. As you can see now, the final preview is presented, and we can swipe until we'll select the overlay that we would like to apply. Presets tab, we can enable the multi-preset selection feature. It allows us to work with several presets in a sequence throughout a single event. So first, I will check this box to enable the feature. As you can see, a new menu opened on the right side of the screen, and here I can drag and drop the presets that I would like to use for my next event. And I will click here to save the list that I created. Pressing on the Start Multi-Preset button will run the presets automatically according to their order in the list we created. You can also rearrange the order of the presets by dragging and dropping them up and down the list, like so. If you want to run the presets in a random sequence, you will check here this box, Rotate randomly between multi-presets, and then you can hit Start Multi-Preset, and the software will start a different one randomly each time. Checking the Show Multi-Preset Selection screen box will exhibit the thumbnails of the presets on the screen, so your guests can choose which preset they would like to experience by tapping their choice on the screen, like so. Now I will press Ctrl-O on my keyboard in order to show the options menu, and I will scale down the window to 68%, so I'll be able to see my thumbnails selection. We can adjust the size of the thumbnails by setting the thumb width and height. We can also change their location by adjusting the thumb horizontal and vertical gap, change the thumb row and column count, and vertical and horizontal center. Right now, I will change my preset thumbnails presentation to be in 1 row and 3 columns. As you can see, it appears in 1 row and 3 columns, just as I selected in the options menu. Another option is to add a background to our selection screen by clicking here on the 3 dots button, and we can browse either a static background or an animated background. If I want to remove the background that I added, I will press here on the X button, and I will save again.